Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. There's a good chance that we're going to finish MSQ tonight. What are we going to do after that? I don't know. So, let's head on in and see what we can get done tonight. Hey, we are live. Thank you for putting forth Kazal's name. Those whose lives he enriched will take comfort in seeing his legacy honored. You will forgive me for not speaking sooner, but I bear a message from the Archon Ishtola. She asks that you meet her at the High Crucible at your earliest convenience. Understood. Thank you. Estola must have finished her study on the Void Gate. Shall we hear what she has to say, then? I will go with you. I thought the satrap was too busy setting up the foundation. My clerks have been the well-oiled cogs of this administration since before Arawan assumed the office. They understand what needs to be done. And I am curious to learn what conclusions your Archon has reached concerning the gate's unique construction. As you wish. Allow me to lead the way, Your Excellency. For one who claims it is too late to save his sister, Vritra seems awfully interested in whatever revelations Istola might have to share.
Right.
I was quoting Estinian there.
Yeah, he's right, though.
Yeah. Shall we hear what your scholarly comrade has to say?
Right, here we all are.
You discovered something new.
I took a closer look at that device. I was able to determine how it keeps the Void Gate sealed, but not how it might instead be employed to expand the opening. For that, I would need to reference the technique developed by Vritra's alchemists, no records of which appear to have survived the intervening years.
We know this, so why have you sent for us? Have you learned aught of value or not?
Patience, good sir. One must introduce the subject before launching into specifics. From what we understand, travel between worlds is accomplished by passing through the nebulous rift which exists between them. Picture, if you will, the moment you were called to the first. You touched a focus of some kind to help the Exarch pinpoint your location. His summoning spell then channeled the energies of the Crystal Tower to begin your journey to his world. The magics tore a hole in the wall separating source and shard, and cast you into the intervening nothingness. In that place, the laws of nature hold no sway. Yet even through this realm of temporal and spatial instability, you were borne safely to your destination in the first. The feat that guided you across such an unimaginable distance, both physical and metaphorical, was nothing short of a miracle.
Then what of the many Voidsent found in the source? Who guides them here, and how?
An excellent question. Though there are several methods by which the Void's denizens might intrude upon our world, the rituals of summoning are the most typical. For example, let us consider the Gargoyle, a creature of middling power. To call upon such an entity, the prospective summoner must force open a void gate. The portal lasts but a moment and is relatively small, allowing only an imp or other lesser being to squeeze through with their physical body intact. Our more powerful gargoyle, however, is too large for that. Creating a gate big enough for him would require vast amounts of energy, far beyond the reserves of any one mortal practitioner. Instead, 'tis far more common to bring over only the entity's soul. We had a taste of that ourselves when a certain exarch dragged us to the first. And just as our bodies remained in our world, the Voidsent's physical form is left behind in the 13th. Once at its destination, the summoned soul is granted a temporary shell to inhabit. In the gargoyle's case, a stone effigy has proven a suitable vessel.
Wait. You said that Voidsent must be called here deliberately by someone in the source, reeled in like a fisherman with his catch.
Exactly. For a being to navigate the chaos of the rift, with or without form, there must needs be a guiding agent on the other side.
When the hordes poured forth from Alag's Great Gate, it was the technologists who drew them through. Though to my knowledge, Planar fissures are, in essence, natural passages between our world and the void, which require no such guidance to traverse. Why is only the boundary between the source and the 13th so fragile? So much so that it often tears open of its own accord.
I believe solving that mystery is key to understanding travel between the source and its reflections.
And how do you intend to get your answers?
No. The danger is too great.
Perhaps. But what some call danger, others think of as adventure.
Were you not listening to my tale? Never mind that the means to expand the gate has been lost to the ages. Even could you force the portal wide enough, you would be greeted by an army of murderous horrors the very instant you step through.
I assure you I was most attentive. And I agree that to go alone would be certain death. But if I were to bring along one who has already braved the 13th, and humbled the Cloud of Darkness, well, I imagine my chances would be much improved. I had a feeling you might say that. Once again, I put my life in your ever-reliable hands. That said, as much as I would like to march straight back to the Void Gate, there is the small matter of being unable to open it without the Satrap's personal authority.
As I've said before, I will grant you and yours any boon you choose to name, provided it does not endanger my people.
You have my word that we will take every precaution. Not a single void scent will be allowed to threaten Radzat-Han, assuming we manage to expand the portal in the first place.
You have a plan.
Actually, I had hoped you might help us with that. I presume the alchemists you retained supplied you with some explanation of their methodology.
That they did. House Daymir was overseeing the project.
Daymir. Ah, yes. The family associated with the great work.
I did not fully comprehend the theory, but their research began with a void scent which had slipped through the fissure. After a thorough examination, they created an arcane simulacrum possessed of similar qualities. A man-made void scent, if you will. It was apparently indispensable in their efforts to enlarge the gate.
A man-made void scent?
Yes. Being great admirers of the Archons, House Daymir submitted detailed notes to Charlene's official committee. They expected praise and accolades for their simulacrum, and were thus devastated to be informed that their work had been classified as prohibited material.
If that's true, then those notes might still be stored in a forbidden archive somewhere. Not Google, of course, since that library had yet to be built. Which leaves us with... Indeed. Numenon's restricted stacks may very well hold a copy. In which case, I say we head directly to Charlene.
Unless you anticipate needing help to reach the high shelves, I see myself being of little use. Go on ahead. I still need to find Mirad and tell him about the Khalzal Foundation.
Let us be on our way as well.
They are resolved to venture into the void. Do I sit idly by?
Can you imagine the destruction?
Suppose everybody wants to go to old Shadowrun. Bleh.
Sure, why not? Time to go see Graha's favorite place to sneak around.
That's the one I selected as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Although he did get caught, did he not?
Yeah, he did.
But not until after he'd found the information he was looking for. If we're to enter the Numenon's restricted archives with a minimum of fuss, then we must secure permission from the Forum. First, however, we shall need to enlist the cooperation of a member to broach the matter on our behalf. Who do you think might be inclined to assist us? No one springs to mind? What of Scalark Montaigne? He did come to Graha's defense during the inquiry, after all. It is settled. Let us head to Phenomenon and see if he's willing to help us once more. Istola is now accompanying you, etc., etc. I apprenticed to Master Matoya at the age of 7, and labored under her tutelage for a full decade. I never had a chance to attend the studium. Neither did Thancred, as I recall. Soon after Master Louisoix took him in off the streets, he was put into the care of another Archon. His was a rigorous and practical education in the arts of espionage and survival. I sometimes wonder what my life might have been like if I had pursued studies here instead. Go with option 1. Well, that does sound lovely. Afternoons with friends, spent sipping tea and debating theories. Still, I wouldn't give up my time with Master Matoya for the world. The dank cave I studied in was about as far from the bright, airy halls of the academia as one could get, but it was a wondrous, magical childhood nonetheless. AJ, note the guild.
Log H, Log Horizon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, see you guys.
We could change ours to whatever we want. That the extension thing can be customized to, doesn't have to be the letters of the guild
True.
name. But we're not changing it to Log H. I don't think we should anyway.
I think they also have to be unique, but...
Probably.
Ah, visitors. And quite esteemed ones at that. What may I do for you? Pray forgive the intrusion, Scholark. But we were hoping you might help us secure permission to enter Numenon's restricted archives. Oh, no furtive forays into the stacks this time, eh? I applaud this newfound sense of propriety. Yet, in all this wide world of comparative serenity, what so compels you to disturb a vault of forbidden wisdom? Apparently, we told him straight out, and he did not approve. Fascinating. I had no idea such a technique existed. I would have been surprised if you had. If my assumption is correct, the research left behind by House Daymir has lain dormant in Charlian's archives for many centuries. And if you unearth this research, what then? Surely you don't intend to cross over into the void. That is, in fact, precisely what we intend. To what end, pray tell? To develop a method of transversing the rift. To develop a method of traversing the rift, for one, that I might keep my word to a distant friend. Sentiment aside, I have journeyed to the end of existence. I have heard, felt, and thought endlessly about the truth of our world and the echo of its future. And yet I want to understand everything, to unravel it all down to its very last secret. What scholar worthy of the name wouldn't force open a void gate or two if a grand revelation was a promised reward? Marvelous. An audacious proposal worthy of Master Matoya herself. And after hearing the whys and the wheretofores, I for one do not believe you would use the knowledge for ill. I see no reason not to present your request for the forum's consideration. Although your petition would be better received if you also had the support of another well-placed acquaintance. Why, Master Fortuneau, of course. He can hardly ignore an earnest request from his dear children's most treasured comrades. I was hesitant to approach him directly, but there is no denying that having Master Fortuneau on our side would tip the balance in our favor. Very well, we'll pay a visit to Levliora Estate and plead our case. Ah, one last thing before you go. I would consider it a personal favor if you might share with me the discoveries you make in the void. My appetite for knowledge is every bit as insatiable as yours, I'd wager. So, if you could see your way to indulging an old man's curiosity. Of course, Scholar. We will be sure to pass on any revelations.
He might be okay with it as long as we're not taking Alpha Note or Alice, eh?
Great. And we can always make sure to mention the fact that they are far away right now. They may not stay that way, so we might want to get this done as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
How may I be of service? We've come to speak to Master Fortuneau. Is he home by any chance? Yes, the master is in residence. I shall inform him that he has guests. Well, well. Amelie would invite you inside for tea, but I assume this is not a social visit. You have some matter of import to discuss. Then pray proceed. You have my full attention. Yes, it's a matter of import. We should discuss it on the porch.
I know, right?
For all to hear.
Oh, I suppose I should praise you for following the proper protocols this time around. Scholar Montaigne expressed much the same sentiment. I assure you, we'll not attempt to circumvent the forum's authority again. Unless it is absolutely necessary, of course. Of course. You do understand that the restricted archives are restricted for good reason. If no pressing need exists, then why risk the consequences of employing this forbidden knowledge? For a brother who misses his sister. She was his guardian and his friend. A selfless hero who crossed the rift between worlds to save her homeland from horror and suffering. But the brother has given up on thoughts of reunion. He spends his efforts elsewhere, watching over a people yet healing from the flames of the final days, loyal to his duty while betraying the longing in his heart. It is no vital mission, perhaps, reuniting these siblings, but it feels a worthy cause to pursue all the same. As one who feared losing his own loved ones and spent years in research to prevent it, surely you appreciate how painful such a separation must be. Reflections are still very much a mystery to us. Offering to share your experiences in the first should constitute a fair exchange for our cooperation. Do not celebrate just yet. The forum must be convinced. I will add your request to the list of today's deliberations, and deliver the decision to you at the Valdesian Annex. I'm so glad they added the ability to be able to use the Ethernet shards with followers.
Oh yeah, because that was the worst.
But what did the forum decide? To put it bluntly, Master Matoria has burned some bridges here in Charlian, and salted the earth for good measure. When it became clear that her student was the petitioner in question, well, no few members voiced their discontent. Then the chamber was reminded, in no uncertain terms I might add, of the incredible debt we owe to you and your companions. That served to silence the grumbles and stiffen a few spines, and it was agreed that allowing you entry to the archives was the least we could do in return. Well, that is wonderful news. Thank you both for speaking on our behalf. Yes, well, as I am sure you were aware, this permission was not extended lightly. Forbidden knowledge is to be treated with the utmost caution, and there will be repercussions if it is not. I wish you well in your endeavor, and bid you good day. Ever the same, that one. Uncompromising? Aye. But that very stoicism is exactly what Charlian needed to get it through not one, but two exoduses. That went rather well, I think. As a child, I dreamed up any number of schemes for getting my hands on those forbidden tomes, and now I can simply walk in through the door. Our focus will be on finding House Damir's research notes, but the thought of so much knowledge at my disposal has me feeling a little giddy. You'll be heading directly to the archives from here, I presume. You presume correctly. Then you'll want to speak to the index page when you arrive. It's been instructed to grant you access to the restricted section. Excellent. Once again, we thank you for all your help. Oh, it was a pleasure, believe me. May you find the knowledge you seek. Shall we? I do like these little quests where the NPC just follows us to where we're going instead of they just teleport directly there and are waiting when we get there.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all apparently saw a way to run up the hill that I didn't see.
Yeah, we found it the other day.
To think the set of instructions I laughingly imagined may actually exist, but yalms away from where you found me napping. If I had known that Aldazal III's exploits sooner, I could well have saved myself days of research. Even a children's book might have pointed me in the right direction. To achieve the impossible, one must needs be flexible of mind and look beyond conventional wisdom. A lesson I had already learned, but clearly not taken to heart. Archon Ishtola and guest identified. Do you wish to proceed into the restricted archives? Follow me if you would. Watch your step, and please note that the use of naked flames is discouraged.
Well, those bookcases are impractical.
Very much so.
If House Damia's notes are to be found anywhere, it will be here. Let us begin.
There's an open flame right there on the table.
This is also true. So many books I've yet to read. Oh, we're instanced too, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes, we are here for one specific volume. You needn't remind me. I'm gonna start near the door on the upper level. If you guys want to read the same book as me, otherwise I'm just gonna go through everything. The following pages detail an advanced method for manipulating rift-spanning apertures as discussed by... I found it on the first try. We present these
Oh, that's
research
fun.
notes to the faculty of the Charlian Studium as both a token of our friendship and an expression of our boundless admiration. You appear to have located the forbidden tome you seek. Ishtola will need to make the final confirmation. And I have nothing else to click, so... You have something you'd like to show me, do you? My apologies, I flipped open but a single book and was completely absorbed by the contents. Well done. I think you may have found their prize.
Yes, the ether signature is unmistakable. I've felt the traces of House Damia's resonance many times at the Great Work. Time to see what all the fuss was about.
Well, that
Among
looks
the ranks
familiar.
of the Void Sent, there exist entities with the power to call forth their brethren from beyond. The species known as Atomos, however, is uniquely prodigious in this regard. From its distended maw, it can expel an endless procession of void-born creatures. A talent which sorely tested the Radiant Host in its battles against these abominations. Surmising that the entity itself was acting as a void gate, we endeavored to capture a small specimen and subsequently examine its physiological structure. Our findings reveal that the Atomos had absorbed a planar fissure into its own flesh, which it could expand at will into a functioning gate. Upon further analysis, we identified an ethereal wave pattern emitted during this process. A pattern we were able to emulate by passing crystal-stored ether through a specially designed prism. We proceeded to embed said prism into an arcane simulacrum, thus completing what we have dubbed our artificial Atomos. How could I have been so blind to the possibilities? This species, not to mention its ability to summon void scent, has been discussed among academics for years now. Just before the advent of the 7th Umbral Calamity, we received reports of Atomos sightings from every corner of Eorzea. Surely you've at least heard the tales. And still, House Daemir went and built a mock Atomos of their very own. I'm not surprised the Archons consigned their work to a restricted archive. It was no easy task, but at last we've unearthed the volume we've been searching for. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't tempted to stay longer. See what other forbidden titles might be lurking on these shelves? Ah, but that would be abusing the very special privilege we've been granted now, wouldn't it? Better not.
Did she just pocket it?
Well, I don't know if they forbade us from taking the one book we were in there looking for out or not, but yes, she did.
Okay. Quick side note, I went straight running to the back and talked to that spot. And the book said that they pulled through a void character. And she, if you can call that, was very different from any of the other voids beasts that had coming through. And it sounded like a succubus. I was like, oh, that dude's dead. I wonder what happened.
Gotcha.
I read that one as well.
As much as I would love to start crafting this Atmos, I'm afraid this is a far outside my field of expertise. Fortunately, we know a Hanish alchemist who would be delighted to involve herself in a House Daemir project. Our business here is concluded. For the moment, please pass on our regards to the fort. Your message will be conveyed. Should you wish to indulge in more forbidden literature, I will be here. Patron mode disabled. Security mode engaged. If anyone can help us, Nidana can. I say we return to Thavnair and look for her at the Great Work. Istola tells me you are pursuing a most fascinating study, and that you want me to be part of it. I have no doubt you will be interested. This research log should speak for itself. Will it now? By the sisters, this is the mark of House Daymere. I never even knew such a work existed. You should. It was sequestered in Numenon's restricted archives, after all. It was, but that means every word within is forbidden knowledge. A forbidden tome filled with forbidden research, and you put it right into my unsuspecting hand? I can hardly wait to read it.
Of course.
Uh-huh. To think the Daymere were developing such marvelous techniques so long ago. How many innovations have been lost over the centuries, I wonder. Now that you've glanced over the notes, what say you help us build a new mock Atmos? I say yes, 1,000 times yes. Work on a Daymere project that had even the redoubtable scholars of Sharlayan trembling in their sandals. No alchemist of the great work could resist. You are a woman after my own heart. Oh, I suppose I should ask, what do you mean to do with this big-mouthed simulacrum once we've built it? So there's a secret void gate, and it's sealed in the ruins at the bottom of the bounty. Today is a day of revelations indeed. If the purpose of our man-made Atmos is to expand this hidden portal, then I will need to see it for myself. I think manipulating rift-spanning apertures is not the sort of thing you want to interrupt without first taking into account every single factor. Then by all means, accompany us to the vault. I plan to lead us back there shortly, once we've finished gathering the components I require. Charlian's markets provided the raw aquamarine and pure water crystals, but I might need help obtaining a small quantity of astrally infused water. For such a liquid, you need to go no further than the font of Maya. The aesthetics of old once favored the place for their meditations, and the water which pools there now is known to enliven the flow of ether. That sounds perfect. If you'd be so kind as to fill a flask at the pool, I will petition Vitra to join us. The idea I have in mind won't amount to much without his authority to command the Void Gate. Shall we be about it then? We'll meet back here anon.
The pool where the little baby was.
Mm-hmm. Do you have that flask for me? Yes, this should suffice. Thank you. Look who I came across. Estidian seemed in need of diversion, and we, in turn, may need his lance. Right then. Now that our little party is assembled, let us make our way to the ruins. Will we have need of Matsuya's boat again? Not this time. Once Istola informed me of our destination, I arranged for a vessel to be made ready at Akyali. Your Excellency is ever the gracious host. Shall we? I might be fighting Void Scent. Might need my armor. I feel like it's the first time I've seen this zone when it wasn't night.
Maybe.
Think if anybody says anything interesting, but so far, no. The ship is yours to command. Our thanks. We set sail at once. Oh, this is so exciting. Alzadal's legacy. To see the truth of the legend with my own eyes. All aboard for the treasure vault. I spoke to Istola when we arrived here. She says, poor Vitra. He really should have spoken with Estidian before we left. I shudder to think what we've cost him in terms of construct materials. So I'm guessing Estidian killed everything again. I thought we cleared this place of constructs the last time we came through. Would seem a few stragglers remained. Yeah, he did.
That's funny. That is so funny.
And Varashad says, he laid waste to them ere I could utter a single word.
That's awesome.
Indeed.
The ruins alone were impressive enough, but I never dreamed such a treasure lay hidden in the depths of the bounty. It may have been helpful to know this device existed, Your Excellency.
My apologies. The gate was a secret I shared with none but my closest advisors. I feared for what might happen should those with ill intentions learn of its existence.
What is it you're doing now?
There is something I wish to verify. The NOAA reports claim that a short stint into the void carries little risk of etheric imbalance. Should one suffer an injury, however, or if one's expedition drags on longer than intended, that risk becomes significantly greater. Gra has theorized that a warding scale would confer protection from the void's corrupting influence. But I would prefer to test that hypothesis before we set foot in the 13th ourselves.
So, this is an experiment of sorts.
Yes, an experiment. Tell me, how would you go about testing the efficacy of the warding scale? Very good. I see you've been paying attention. As Vritra sent his simulacrum, so too shall we rely on a familiar to bear the brunt of any unpleasant consequences. Now, a lowly imp can navigate a fissure, no matter how narrow. Which means an arcane entity of similar stature should be able to manage the same. I hadn't wanted it to come to this, but no other familiars will do, I'm afraid.
I mislike the sound of that. What manner of fiend does she mean to summon?
From ocean rise and cloudbank form, from mountain spring and rainfall storm, from river flow and life be born.
Water, water, froth and foam!
Ready your arms. I fear she's been possessed.
Oh, come now. That was adorable.
Water, water, froth and foam! Time to play!
Though not my first choice, these familiars I conceived of as a child have the best chance of fitting through the gate. I only wish my younger self had considered a more dignified ending to the creation ritual. In any case, these two should serve us well. This one will bear a warding scale. And when they return from the 13th, we can observe how the talisman, or absence thereof, has affected the progress of the Void's corruption. If I could impose upon you to open the gate. Your Excellency?
Ah, yes, of course.
We should also be wary of void scent slipping through while we conduct our experiment. Estinian, you are to keep Nidana safe from harm.
As you say.
You had best be on your guard as well. And we are glad for it. Let us begin, shall we? Nixies, into the void.
Water, water, froth and foam! Into shining realms we go!
Okay, time out. Did anybody reply froth and foam to her?
Me.
I wanted
Me
to, but
too.
I did not.
Me too. And then she's like, I could shrink you down if you wanted to go with the pixies.
Yep.
I love how what's her name? The elephant lady, Natala. Whatever.
Adana, yeah.
Oh, come now, that was adorable.
Before clicking the destination, I have clicked Estinian, and he says, I struggle to picture Ishtola as a little girl. Easier to believe she sprang fully formed from one of Master Matoya's cauldrons.
Nice.
Nice. Did you talk to Nadalia or whatever?
Yes, I did.
Sister Sammy, I will never see Ishtola the same way again. Froth and foam indeed.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've waited long enough. Nixies, return to my side. Thank you, little one. You did well.
The poor thing. Its essence has been irrevocably warped.
We're out of time. I must reseal the void gate.
They're coming through!
In the name of Alzadal III, I bar this door unto the void.
Well, that was a sharp lesson in the dangers of void gates.
And what of our experiment? I'd say the results speak for themselves.
The unprotected Nixie has suffered extensive etheric corruption. As Nidana observed, it's well on its way to becoming a void scent. The one merged with the talisman, however, appears unaffected. I sense no changes to its equilibrium. Rest now, little ones.
Graha's theory was correct then.
So it would seem. But while our second familiar was untouched by void energies, the talisman itself shows signs of degradation. It was, of course, originally designed to shield the soul from primal tempering. It stands to reason that etheric corruption of a different sort would affect it differently. We may need to modify the warding scale's design to account for the 13th's uniquely unstable ether.
You've said much of the Void's instability, but my imagination fails me. What manner of place is this broken world?
Ah, my apologies. I forget that not all of us spend our days sequestered in dusty archives. The 13th is a reflection of the source that was drowned in a flood of darkness. In Emmett Selk's own words, this tragedy was a result of the Ascians' attempts to force a rejoining. They erred in their haste, and made of that world a useless void. You remember Una Kalhai, the unusual child we met during our troubles with the Warring Triad. He explained the fate of the 13th thus. The champions of that ill-fated world used the stone known as Auracite to contain the power of primals. But those self-same heroes were gradually corrupted by the Auracite's bleeding energies, transforming into fiends with an endless hunger for ether. By the time anyone thought to oppose them, Light's strength had grown too feeble, and the balance of the 13th tipped into eternal darkness. And what of your own experience? Will you tell us of what you observed during Noah's expedition? I can picture it now. The sunless, Stygian expanse, infested with legions of ether-starved monstrosities. A void in every sense of the word.
What you have described in such lurid detail is exactly why I hesitate to encourage you.
Worry not, great Vritra. Our journey into the 13th is but the first leg of a longer voyage. A voyage that shall lead us to other reflections, to new mysteries and discoveries. And I mean to be there every step of the way. But first I must focus on refining the warding talisman.
Then I can begin work on constructing an artificial Atomos. Or I could if I had the relevant manuals to hand. Might I be so bold as to request access to the Satrap's family archives? Your Excellency?
Oh, yes. That can be arranged. I will speak to my officials upon our return.
We will see you back in the city then.
Have y'all accepted the next quest from Istola yet, or are you still in the cutscene?
Next quest.
I think I'm just finishing.
And you're already in the next one, Zora?
Yeah.
Starting the next one now.
Once Nidana succeeds in replicating the Mach Atmos, this door into the 13th will be ours to open. Will you be crossing the threshold alongside us? I realize this is more my endeavor than yours. To be honest, I've no interest in visiting the Void myself. But we discuss this later. There is something I must do first. Why does everyone insist on being so secretive? I at least had good reason for not wanting to explain my Nixie ritual. Shall we proceed with our preparations then? As we saw, the warding scale can be effective at protecting the bearer from other sources of etheric corruption. Nevertheless, the talisman's durability will need to be improved if it is to withstand the Void's influence for a prolonged length of time. And I think that is a problem we can address without involving the brilliant but busy alchemists who created it. Who do we know who excels at this kind of structural augmentation? I'm going to say Garland Ironworks. I think it's the Alligans, though. An excellent suggestion. As I recall, Sid himself is no stranger to the Void and its volatile energies. With his experienced hand at the helm, I have every confidence that the Ironworks can strengthen the warding scale. Come, let us visit their operation in Ralger's Reach and commission their best and brightest. Oh, they hang out in Ralger's Reach now? Okay.
Yeah, I was surprised by that as well.
Oh, and we are just straight up there.
Yep, which is nice.
Perhaps this young man can locate Sid for us. What brings you to the Ironworks? We have a commission for you and your president, actually, assuming he's available. Master Sid? Certainly. I'll see if he has a moment free.
Actually, now that I've seen it, I remember them being here.
True. Did at least have the sense to tell the layman, go. You're on a break.
Mm-hmm.
A pleasure as always. I hear you have a job for us. Heading into the void to find a lost dragon. Sounds almost pedestrian compared to your last adventure. Honestly, I don't know if you could say anything that would surprise me after Meteon and that bloody mess. Alright, let's take a look at this talisman of yours. You said there were signs of degradation? Seems some manner of corrosion is set in around a scratch on the surface. Much as the Void's corruption seeped into Nero through his wounds. In which case, our best bet may be to simply prevent the scale from being damaged in the first place. And how might we achieve that? We have a coating agent for strengthening trinkets and the like, but I'd be wary of applying any compound which might upset the scale's delicate alchemical balance. Far safer to dress it in armor. We'll construct a protective casing. one utilizing metal alloys with the high etherical conductivity, so as not to impede the talisman's primary function. A suit of armor, as you said. Nero has compiled data on the 13th, so I'll have him pitch in with the design just to be sure. If only it weren't such an ordeal to convince him to follow our safety protocols. In any case, we may need some time to untangle the particulars. Understandable. We know how busy your schedule is, and the final result will doubtless be worth the wait. Ha! The hard part will be ducking Jessie and her constant barrage of demands while we sneak about doing the fun stuff. We'll see what we can do. I think we can leave the rest in Sid's capable hands. Let's return to the great work and see how Nadana is getting on with the Mach Atomos.
Sorry, I just wondered if there was anything interesting.
It's worth checking. I'm almost capped on poetics.
Mm-hmm.
I could spend almost all of them on an orchestran role.
Are we ready?
I am.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, hey, Stola. The adjustments are going well, I hope?
'Tis a lengthy process, but the end is in sight, yes.
That's wonderful news. I myself had some good fortune searching through the Satrap's private records. What I found was a transaction log dated around the same period as when Al-Zadal's legacy was built. It included a purchase list of highly exclusive alchemical components, and I knew I'd discovered the key to making the artificial atomos. I then visited the High Crucible to commission the materials. After I'd explained my requirements, I was beset by volunteers insisting I allow them to help with the entire project.
The usual reaction to someone forcing open a void gate is to run for the hills. Harnish academics certainly are a different breed.
The alchemists of old were cut from a similar cloth. The unknown held no fear for them. Indeed, they were ever eager to seek new knowledge, regardless of the danger.
And were you not also fearless, heedless even, in your determination?
My sire entered his dormancy before I was hatched. And so it was Ashdaya who kept my eggs safe and warm. created a bond between us. Even long after I learned to fend for myself, I rarely strayed from her side. She was my guardian, my sister, my dear companion. And not a single day passes that I do not mourn her absence. No matter how deep the darkness, I would not surrender my search. I promised myself the time would come when we would once more take to the skies together. But I am satrap now.
The Radiant Host is here to serve, Your Excellency.
Nabdeen, what is this about?
Celestinian told us of your predicament. For centuries you have protected Rads at Han, never showing your true self, hiding behind a curtain and living only in service to the people. Your dedication meant more to us than your deceit, and so did we accept you as our rightful ruler. After all that you have sacrificed for this nation, did you imagine we would begrudge you your heart's desire? We survived the final days. We are a strong and proud people. We, the Radiant Host, will keep Thavnair safe in your absence.
I am grateful for your loyalty and for your encouragement. And yet...
Now you listen to me, Varshan. You are wearing that face, after all. As I have told you before, you are a little brother to us all. And if you are family, then so too is your sister. We are there for you if you need us. But do not ask us to sit by and watch while you abandon a sibling you have ached to rescue for millennia.
We will succeed in opening the way. It is only a matter of time. All you need do is prepare to step through to the other side.
Your Excellency, I wanted to thank you for building the orphanage. It means so much that my sister and I will have a place to be together, safe and happy. And I hope that you and your sister can be together again too.
Take heart and protect them well. Such were the words I once said to you, and here I stand, failing to live up to them. If my heart is torn, I am fit to protect neither Ajdaya nor Radzatan. My people, I have come to a decision. Vashan will depart Thavnair for a time. My dragon self will remain in the palace, but only to conduct the satrap's most essential duties. While I am focused on controlling this vessel, there may be matters that escape my attention. I rely on you, my trusted friends, to watch over one another until I return.
Take care, and fair fortune, little brother.
Many tears would be shed should you come to harm.
I would not dare make you cry.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Thank you. The voice for the Radiant Host guy does not match his appearance, in my opinion.
No. His, some horrible things were done to the character creator to make this guy.
Yeah.
I feel like he's been horribly burned at some point or something. His skin seems stretched far too tight over his face.
Mm-hmm.
I'm back.
Welcome back. You surprise me, Estinian. For a lone wolf, you've shown an unusual degree of, shall we say, involvement in helping Vitra reach this conclusion. It was for the greater good. The worm's thundering sighs were keeping his citizens awake at night, and had travelers believing the palace racked by some unnatural storm.
Do you see the reaction he just did? That's funny.
What of your own answer, then? You seem disinclined to venture into the void. When I was one with Needhog, his vengeful thoughts were my thoughts, his endless rage my rage. and the soul-chilling grief he nursed for Ratatosker's death. I would not wish such agony upon a foe, let alone a friend and ally. If there is a chance we can spare Vitra that pain, then I will follow you. I'm going with option 1. Indeed, but perfect for our purpose. I should think I'd rather not bother the Scions with aught less than a dire threat to the star. Now, on to specifics. Unlike the first, where the flood of light was halted before its devastation was complete, the 13th has been utterly subsumed by darkness. My plan, as such, is to explore the void in stages, withdrawing to safety after each brief foray. It would be more convenient had we some manner of base camp nearer to the gate itself. One of the palace chambers should serve. Come, let us reconvene outside Megaduta. And so we will require suitable accommodations. Might we make something available for our guests? All the chambers are presently hosting the great mounds of treasure we carried out of the vault. Once the Foundation's activities begin in earnest, however, we can redistribute the trove and make a room or two ready for habitation. Good. Please inform me when you've completed the arrangements. The dragon's castle is filled to the brim with treasure.
Mm-hmm.
As you heard, we will have you settled in Megaduta in due time. As ever, you are most gracious, Your Excellency. You risk yourselves to aid me in my search for Azdeja. Providing a comfortable quarters is the least I can do. I only wish we knew more about our destination. The gods only know how long our explorations might possibly take, or what our chances of success might possibly be. Succeed or fail, I am grateful to you for convincing me to make the attempt. On that note, I will return to the great work and lend what help I can to Ndana. If you've preparations to make ere we venture into the 13th, now is the time. All I need is my armor and my lance. Perhaps I'll train with the Radiant Host to pass the time before we depart. You know what this means to me, but my purpose need not consume you as well. We are headed to another world. Find what joy you can in the experience, for you are a traveler, an adventurer at heart. This I know. Meanwhile, in the 13th,
And thus I am returned. To this world, bereft of saviors.
let paths unwalk adventurers spur, pulses quicken, spirits stir. And we have reached the end of MSQ.
Oh, wow. Okay.
As you can see, our MSQ button just says to be continued.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Was that Xenos? I feel like that was Xenos.
Yeah, I
I had the
know.
same feeling.
Yeah, it kind of looked like his more his Reaper shadow or whatever, but his Reaper shadow didn't have a human face. So
But the arm was the same arm, left arm.
Yeah, he had that because that's what he looked like when he had the Reaper stuff going on. He looked like that
yeah.
red stuff.
Will we never be rid of Xenos?
I know, right?
Yeah, but he had this
crazy fan.
He had a familiarity of that area though, and Xenos doesn't.
True, but it's maybe the Reapers draw their power from the 13th. Like that shadow that follows them around.
Mm-hmm.
So he escaped the end of the universe by following his shadow home, maybe?
Well, it sort of seemed to leave him at the very end, kind of like because he had absorbed all that power. I wonder if it went back to the 13th.
True. That's right. My chat has just reminded me that when you start the whole Reaper quest line, you make a pact with a Void Scent to get your Reaper powers. So yeah, Reaper powers do come from the 13th. I was wondering what those noises were. I see KJ is failing to meld materia.
Yeah.
Might as well try. I mean, I doubt I'm going to get anything higher than the 580, so.
Yeah.
For a long time.
True. Well, I guess we got some unlock quests we could do.
Yeah.
Are there any here? No. There is, however, one over in Palaka's stand. Although this might be the one that I picked up last night that you guys couldn't. So
That's what I was just gonna ask.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
yeah, it is. In that case, I'm just going to click through it. I'm pretty sure this is just an expansion of Sky and Stone. And it's done. Alright, just a second.
We're just cutting the cheese. What's that?
That is a quest line we picked up yesterday.
Then there's the crystal from beyond.
Cutting the cheese is a quest we can do. The crystal from beyond leads to one of the raid series. Asphodelios, in fact. The one that pops up in the book.
Look, there's that hovercraft again.
Ooh, that chocobo has a pretty barding.
Yeah.
It was left. It just flew away.
I didn't notice.
It was a lot of white.
Ah.
I wonder if it's the expanse barding.
Yeah, that sort of looks like it was.
You're here, and not a moment too soon. Sorry to call you here so abruptly, but you were the first person who came to mind that might be able to help. You recall the domiciles we were planning to build for the evacuation? I don't mean to brag, but they were immaculate. Positively perfect. Except, of course, for the ever so small oversight of being 3 times larger than necessary. At least that's what I believed before speaking with Urianger. I learned a lot from him about what we should and shouldn't make of the domiciles. And so I began making changes. Small at first, but they soon became much bigger, more drastic. By the end, I swear I was drawing up wholly new plans by the minute. But I was too ambitious. The myriad plans I dreamt up overwhelmed our automated construction machine, the Big Cheese. Even as we speak, it's burrowing underground with reckless abandon. If we don't stop it, the domiciles will be the least of our problems. The entire moon is likely to end up looking like a truckle of whole-filled cheese. Delectable? Perhaps, but utterly unfit for habitation. We tried going after it ourselves, but the survey team never made it past the security systems down there. At least, I don't think so. They've yet to return and aren't answering our communications. I'd rather not resort to brute force, but I can think of no other way, and no other person to see the deed done. Would you be willing to go down there and stop the Big Cheese? Thank you. Head down to Smilliton, and I'll see that you're let in.
Come on, no fist pumps? Or... Everybody got their book? No, this is a 90 dungeon, right?
Yeah, we've already done a 90, so we're good.
If we reset the 90, though...
That is true.
Which I just did. I have no chances.
Is that what we're doing then?
Do we want to do the dungeon?
I'm game.
Doesn't matter to me.
We'll finish the quest.
Well, looking over my book is kind of skimp this week anyway, so I'm going to reset the 90 dungeon.
Okay.
And of course, it decided to clear the striking tree, which would have been easy, but oh well.
Mine did a level 70 dungeon.
Okay, that's at least something.
Minstrel's Bard.
Ballad.
Thornton's Rain.
Yeah.
Ballad, yeah. No, Ballad, yeah. I don't remember Thornton's Rain.
That's the one with the knights.
Oh, the long
so
one.
much, yeah.
The long one.
Yeah, I'd rather just go and get this done. That was a good trade. Did Zora do it?
Yes.
I didn't hear nothing. I'm just asking.
What? That was like a sigh.
And I don't think it was the Expanse barding. It might have been the like body and stuff, but the helm for the chocobo had like a feather or something.
Well, you can mix and match. Maybe.
Well,
they mix and
yeah,
match.
yeah.
This looks weird.
Wow. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
This reminds me of that one movie with the places moving all the time, turning.
Mm-hmm.
With what's his dipit?
Mm-hmm.
I want to say Labyrinth, but I don't think it's Labyrinth.
No. Well,
Oh
Labyrinth,
yeah, sort of.
kind
Yeah,
of,
but not the
sort
same.
of, but not the same. It's
But
the
more
newer
than that, it's that
movie
artwork.
with I don't like him. Titanic.
Oh, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
You're thinking of Inception?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely some Escher architecture we're dealing with here. Stuff going wrong ways. Okay.
Oh, I see one all the way over there.
This door's gonna take us somewhere weird, isn't it?
Oh, I should know that this is the way that they have all the housing set up, and that's what the deal is. That's funny.
They got housing out here?
No. This is what the Loporits were saying is they tried to build the houses, and it's just been kind of a mess. This is a maze, though.
At least gravity is still working. We're not coming out of the doors walking other directions. I'm also wondering how tiny these houses were supposed to be, since Building Way was talking about how he made them 3 times bigger than they were supposed to be, until he talked to Urianger and found out he was doing it wrong. The Loperate just said, "Finally, I'm free. I think. I hope."
Yeah. Oh, they're fighting.
Mm-hmm. Those two didn't want to cooperate.
No.
Kathy, you try to jump off the wall yet?
Invisible walls. Well, that was not promising, Mr. Loperate.
A horrible face?
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's a horrible face, all right.
Several faces. Faces this is.
All right. Lines of fire. The boss will tether to the face statues outside the arena, and several line AoEs will appear that force players into alignment with one of the statues. Getting hit by any of these will result in the death of the player. Once the beams fire, the face the player is in line with will debuff them with a stack of either smiley face, blue, or frowny face, red. Players must alternate between the two debuffs for the entire fight, as getting 2 stacks deals heavy damage, knocks the player back, and debuffs them with down for the count. 3 stacks will KO the player. Off My Lawn is a knockback, usually combined with a targeted AoE on each player. Spread out and avoid overlapping. Every use after the first will be combined with lines of fire to make your positioning even more difficult to figure out. Anti-knockback works fine if the proper safe lane is out of melee range of the otherwise inconvenient. Tempers flares or raid-wide AoE. Upside down turns the faces on the outside upside down so the color switches. And Heart of Fire 4 is the tank buster. So okay. Yeah. Everybody ready to die?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Get in front of a red face.
That was BS. I thought I did.
It had to be one of the ones that was about to shoot.
How do you tell if it's ready to shoot?
He's tethered to it. Okay, those are the red get in front of a blue. Those are the blue get in front of a red. Position in front of the faces you need to be in front of. Emo, back here.
That was BS. It was a double red.
I think it only moves you back one.
Mm-hmm.
So you could just go one ahead if you're going to get pushed back.
Faces are about to fire again.
That was actually fun. I liked that
Yeah, I
one.
liked that one.
It wasn't as difficult as the description made it to
Yes, yes. Okay, I suspect gravity might not work correctly in this place.
sound. Maybe.
Just realized these are standard robot enemies with bunny ears. And now I'm wondering, does every enemy in here have bunny ears?
Why wouldn't they?
It's a good point. They probably eat carrots too.
Or at least steal them, thinking that they're looking. Is that what that one did?
Yeah.
They're called smiley kissers, the little ones.
Uh-huh. And they appear to be little slimes.
Slimy kissers.
Ew.
Slimy.
I don't like how this one seems to have extra units with him.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Circular Saw is a raid-wide AoE. Leap forward, jumps in the direction the boss is facing, and drops a massive AoE move to the opposite wall that the boss is facing to. Move to the opposite wall that the boss is. Whoever wrote this is backwards or something. Move to the wall opposite the one the boss is facing to avoid. Print Workers commands the two adds to copy the leap mechanic. Omnidimensional Onslaught. Cone AoEs first in the cardinal directions and then in the intercardinal directions. Move into the safe spot when the first set of AoEs pop. And Steel Beam is the tank buster. There's a lot to it. Just have to dodge his abilities. Get over here.
Okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah, not as big as they made it sound either. Okay, these guys are about to leap. We need to come over here. Over here.
Did not make it.
Over here. Over here. Or we could just
Nice.
win. Well, I believe that might be the big cheese right there.
Yeah.
Big old 3D printer. Or no, it's a driller, isn't it?
It's both, I would think. Probably drilling to get materials and make space, and then fill that space with whatever it can make from the materials it just drilled.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize there was more than one of those things.
Okay. Maybe this is the brain.
Lots of bunny ears.
Yeah, the crown was made out of bunny ears, I was going to say.
All right.
And the heads.
Yep. All right. Explosives distribution places 2 explosive tanks on the outside of the arena on conveyor belts. Arrows will soon appear indicating how far the explosives will move. One conveyor will have single arrows indicating the explosive will move to the half of the arena closest to the boss, while the other conveyor will have multiple arrows indicating it will move to the half of the arena far from the boss. Move to the safe zone to avoid. Piercing missile is the tank buster. Dispense explosives spawns 2 bombs in 2 different quadrants that will explode if players enter their radius. Explosive power detonates the bombs that have been placed. Right disassembler will cleave the right side of the boss. The left disassembler will cleave the left side of the boss. Electric arc is a stack. Leveling missile targeted AoE on each player, and violent discharge the raid-wide AoE. Doesn't sound like there's a whole lot to this one.
This is the one we're going to die on, huh?
Almost certainly.
Okay, so...
Over here.
Bye.
That is not a very long cast time.
That's because you have to move when you see the arrows. Okay, stay over here. Over here.
I was over. But not enough.
Over here.
Oh, I'm dead. Dang it.
I need life. Okay. Thanks, Ted.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I'll get you as soon as I get some stuff back.
Oh yeah, hold on. You got arrows coming up.
Over here by me. Oh, he didn't leave us a safe space that time.
That was rude.
Rude.
The footsteps is a big landmine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Over here.
Did you not get my res?
Over
Yeah,
here.
I'm just waiting. I'm definitely waiting. Still waiting.
I'm down again.
I'm down.
And I am down. That was actually kind of a funny death. I popped my defensives, and then I stopped moving, meaning I was dead, but I still went through the animation of popping my defensives before I fell over. Basically, if you are in the back, look for the side that has the single arrows, and the safe zone will be on that side. If you're in the front, the side with the triple arrows is the safe side.
Okay, got it.
Of course, that's safe from the big bombs on the tracks. It's not safe from anything else, so...
Yeah, like
Yeah.
he did that line right after, or like right in the
Mhm.
middle of it.
It's possible he raises his arms or something to say he's doing... He actually probably had a cast bar I just didn't pay any attention to.
He does raise his arms on that side. I did see that.
And we didn't have a skip too.
Oh, that's funny. This area just told me that it was under construction. Parentheses, sorry.
Yep. Please forgive our progress.
Uh-huh.
All right, he's about to do the right side, which is actually the left side, so stay over here.
Well, that was...
It's his right side, not ours. Sorry.
Got it. Oh, you're gonna come up and you need to get on the other side. Dang it. Hold on.
I'm gonna go down.
And I'm dead.
didn't notice that. It's just a big AoE, right?
Yeah, there was no avoiding that. You were just low on health.
Yeah.
He's about to blast the right side of the map.
I just jumped. Like, it can't get me if I jump.
I know, I often do that. It's like, you can't get me.
Coming back.
He's about to blast the left side of the screen. Get off. Get over. Well, there's a bomb there. Of course there is.
You already got it, though. You absorbed it.
Gotta be careful, though. I have a paralyze effect on me now.
I took, like, bad hit on that.
He's about to blast this side of the map, so be careful.
Didn't realize you're standing in the bomb.
Sorry, you were standing in a bomb.
Thanks.
Sorry, that was my fault. I got to you too late. Okay, alright.
He's about to hit the right side. Pop him, KJ. That was a chaos fight.
Yes, indeed.
Still kind of fun.
Indeed.
Yeah.
needing on the orchestra roll?
Yep.
The Carrots of Happiness orchestra roll.
Yay!
Didn't have an exiting cutscene. That's surprising.
True. Although it was a kind of a side dungeon, so. Here's our cutscene.
Yeah.
You're back. What happened to the big cheese? It's gone. I suppose that's a mite better than the alternative. And you say the survey team is safe? Oh, thank heavens. Smileton was meant to be a paradise, but the big cheese its architect. It was designed to learn what it is that makes people happy and make manifest whatever we could dream up, no matter how seemingly impossible. But it's been unduly fickle. Every new plan contradicting the last. I fear my indecisiveness overloaded the big cheese, and it lost sight of what true happiness is. All I wanted was to make the people of Aetheris happy, and look upon their smiling faces. I'm going with option 2. Now there's an idea. I mean, sure, Oriange has been incredibly helpful with his advice, but actually seeing how people live would surely be more informative than simply hearing about it. And now that the final days have been averted, there's no longer a need to rush. I'll be sure to bear that in mind so nothing like this happens again. Perhaps I'll start with something simple, like furniture. Oh, and I can design a new automated system to build them. I'll call it the Bigger Cheese.
She flaps her ears. A face on the moon. Nice. And there's a viewpoint up here.
Not on the nose, I'm disappointed.
No, the garland forehead here.
Oh yeah, it is like that.
What other ones do we got?
Let's see.
There was one in heading in towards the elevator to Labyrinthos.
Okay.
Labyrinthos?
No, you don't want to be there. You want to be in the. You want to be the one. I think if we just go to Old Charloran. No, I don't remember now.
We'll see.
Well, there's 3 for Labyrinthos.
If we do that, we probably have to go up. If we went to that, we'd have to go up the elevator again, I think. But...
Well, I see 1, 2, 3 level 90 unlock quests here in Charlian.
Ooh, I see 4.
And I apologize, I think it actually was in Labyrinthos that we passed that guy up to go
to the
main scenario.
Yeah. That one's the Crystal from Beyond, though. That one's raid series.
Oh,
so
okay.
We can ignore that one for now.
That's the one KJ was talking about first. Got it.
Gotcha.
The one I still have. Just wait.
Oh, thank you ever so much for coming. In truth, I've been searching all over for you. You see, there is the most pressing matter for which I could use your wisdom and expertise. Oh, but we haven't actually been introduced yet, have we? My name is Jammingway. I had the honor of serving as the communications officer aboard the Ragnarok. So, anyhow, to the matter I spoke of. It began the other day when my curiosity got the better of me and I decided to send a reconnaissance probe to Ultima Thule to investigate the environs. Imagine my surprise when my robotic friend responded just a short while ago with a most urgent and dire distress signal. A distress signal from Ultima Thule. Now, even after you and your companions mercifully put an end to the threat of the final days, surely this intrigues and worries you as much as it does me. I was just about to venture there to investigate further, but there's no telling what dangers might await, and I am a communications officer, not an adventurer. Please join me in Thalmazine, and so we may boldly go where you have gone before.
Huh.
I like her. Or him.
Mm-hmm. Alright, what are the other quests we have here? This is probably another minstrel's ballad. Who should stand before me but the savior of the very star, the inimitable ender of the end? Your deeds are sung far and wide, my friend. As I understand it, your quest for the world's salvation brought you to Sharlayan. I too am here on a quest of sorts, the quest for musical inspiration. Alas, magnificent though this repository of knowledge may be, I find there is only so much inspiration I can derive from tomes. But where tomes alone fail to inspire, living words may yet spark the imagination. So I beg you, will you not regale me with the tale of your quest to deliver the star? If such an adventure isn't fit to be an epic, I don't know what is. Drawing upon both your first-hand account and the knowledge I attain here, I believe that I shall be able to weave the most marvelous of verses. Should you be willing, pray let me know. I shall continue my research here in the meantime. Greetings, my friend. If you have a tale to share, this minstrel is all ears. Oh, there's gonna be 3 of these, isn't there?
Yeah.
Oh, what manner of thrilling adventure might this be? Good gods, a battle on the moon with Zodiark, eldest and mightiest of primals. I pride myself of my imagination, but your feats transcend aught my mind could possibly conceive. Against all odds, you struck down the puissant being, yet triumph quickly turned to tragedy, for Zodiark's fall proved to be the trigger of the final days. Yes, the words well up within me. Pray lend them an ear. Born of ancient men, a divinity was freed. Their hopes unrequited, there was no reprieve. Born of mortal men, a champion did arise, ascending to the heavens, ruination to defy. That the ancients should sacrifice half their number to save the star. The strength of their resolves makes me tremble in admiration. Even as it saddens me to think that one of their own would seek to lay it all to waste. So deep was his despair. Not having lived their lives, I feel decidedly unworthy to speak of their hearts. Better that the whole truth remain with you, and you alone. Let it suffice for me to honor a fragment of their hopes and dreams in song, that their lives and sacrifice may ever be remembered. This promises to be a most rousing adventure. In order to prove your readiness to avert the final days, you undertook a trial imposed by no less than the will of the star, Heidelin herself. It staggers the mind to imagine such an encounter, to say naught of the thousands of years that Vana had resolved to wait. Yes, I dare say I have a song. You will listen to it now, of course. Though aeons apart, two kindred souls met, apart they would walk, all life to protect. Eons hence their paths would converge, as goddess and mortal, to silence the dirge. For time beyond counting, Heidelin waited for you in patience and faith, and when at last you were reunited, even as she desperately wished for you to surpass her, she knew she could not hold back, and did not. Hers was an unenviable burden, and a noble sacrifice. Tears well in my eyes to imagine the hardships she had to endure. But it comforts me to know that her long journey was not in vain, that her hopes passed on to you. This tale is an epic among epics, and full honored am I to have been given the chance to weave a song for it. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you. A battle at the end of existence, you say, against a fearsome being known as the Endsinger. It goes without saying that I should like to hear about this. Pray, recount me the tale of your mission from beginning to end. Good gods, I had known about the chaos of the final days, but never could I have imagined the events which brought them about. I do wonder, though, where might this Ultima Thule be located? At the end of the universe, buddy. Lest you misunderstand, I speak not of its physical location. If we wish to know that, I dare say we could have the coordinates from the Loporrits. Nay, my friend, what I speak of is rather its essence. According to your description, 'tis a space where emotions dictate reality. It seems to me that in such a place it would be nigh impossible to draw a line between what is real and what is felt. In nature, there is a phenomenon wherein the structure of a massive object may resemble that of something diminutive. Might it not be possible, then, that the structure of the sea of stars resembles that of the heart and mind, of the complex mechanisms that govern our feelings? On the assumption that is so, I am led to wonder, what was the true nature of the Endsinger? What was it exactly that you defied at the edge of existence? These are just wild ramblings of a minstrel. Pray do not lose sleep over it. Still, I must say that the idea of an entity that hoards despair has quite roused my imagination. For instance, had the Endsinger succeeded in gathering but a few more stars worth of despair, nay, perhaps even that of a few more souls, might the outcome have been different? Yes, I believe I shall explore such an eventuality in song. The light of hope kindled by your comrades is brilliant. Alas, so dark is the despair you face, not even the light can pierce it. An inexorable verse of oblivion, performed at the farthest reaches of existence. I shall name it the Endsinger's Aria. That's the Hunt Master, KJ.
Yeah, it's got a blue one open up for me.
Alright. Ah, welcome back. Are you perchance here to see Kryl? I'm given to understand she has a task for which she desires your assistance. And I shall fetch her at once. Pray wait a moment. My thanks for coming. If you're now available, I'd like you and Raha to assist me in a task I had mentioned. For you to call on him, I assume this task in question is somewhat more exciting than sorting through paperwork, which I am pleased to add, I have finished. So if he's ready, then so am I. Our venture to the bounty has only served to whet my appetite for field work. Not to oversell things, but I suspect you won't be disappointed. Ere I divulge the details, however, permit me to provide some background. As you know, our organization, the Students of Baldessian, was founded by my grandfather Galuf. Our stated mission was to uncover the mysteries of Hydaelyn and interpret her will, particularly those through the study of her gift to us. We've since learned the whole truth, and it might be said that we've fulfilled our mission, but our work is far from over. In the course of our endeavors, we've also sought to devise countermeasures against threats that come to light. Our involvement with the Warring Triad is an example of such. It's my belief that in the continuing to seek out the unknown and dealing with threats, we best carry on the students' mission. We best honor those we lost when the Isle of Vol was destroyed. Forgive me, I didn't mean to darken the mood. In saying all this, I simply wanted to clarify our organization's purpose for a new age. In line with said purpose, I've been reviewing new requests, and one in particular jumped out at me. It comes from none other than Rambros, of the Sons of St. Cornac. Truly, has something happened in Mordana then? So it would seem, and he wishes to entrust the matter to us. While his missive is sparse on details, he writes that it lies beyond the Sun's expertise. Uncharted territory are the exact words he used. I'd like you to meet with Rambros and conduct a preliminary survey. What say you? Wonderful. When you are ready, pray make your way to Revenant's Toll. I shall let Rambros know to receive you there. I must remain here to oversee our operations, but should it transpire that more hands are needed, don't hesitate to send word. Well, there's no time like the present. If you could go on ahead to Revenant's Toll, I shall make ready and be there. Make ready and then be on my way. Where are we headed, KJ?
Mordania, Revenant's Toll.
Alright.
Was that right, or did you guys want to do... Was there another one we missed? Or...
Well, that's all of those, but this one here is apparently also a raid series, so...
Oh.
Might as well go ahead and do the quest, though, just to get it out of our log. There you are. Would seem we're early. My apologies for the wait. Rembros, what a pleasure to see you again. How have you been? The pleasure is all mine, my friend. I've been well, and it gladdens me to see that you are too. Now, I know you have many demands upon your time, so I shall explain the particulars of our request at once. Recently, an explorer came to us who claimed to have discovered the Phantom Realm. Phantom Realm? So this is what you mean by uncharted territory. Oh, you're not familiar? Perhaps unsurprising, given that it is a lesser-known legend. This legend holds that across Eorzea there exists a realm that appears as a mirage. Though visible from a distance, it fades away as one draws near. While it has featured in myth since ancient times, the realm's existence could not be proven, and thus it is seldom mentioned in literature. In spite of this, fueled by rumors of the occasional sighting, the myth has persisted, and continues to capture the hearts and minds of explorers. That you yourself should reach out to us. It is real, then. When first the explorer in question approached us, we doubted him. But we couldn't doubt the evidence of our senses. Nay, the realm is real, as you will soon see for yourselves. Good gods, a part of me still struggles to believe it. Can't speak. A part of me still struggles to believe it, but we have no reason to doubt you. Suffice to say, we are eager to see the realm too. Whatever truth awaits, I pray you will succeed in finding it. Seek out the explorer, one Derek. He has seen more of the realm than us, and should be willing to serve as your guide. I asked him to accompany me here, but he preferred to continue exploring on his own. He will be somewhere near the banks of Silvertear Lake, I expect. Understood. Our thanks, Rembros. Come, let us split up and look for our explorer. You see a small Opo-Opo. It couldn't possibly be the explorer, or could it? I hope not. Just in case you were entertaining the thought, the Opo-Opo isn't our explorer. I have the man in question here with me.
He's wearing a cape of happiness.
Because he's happy.
I'm Derek, the one who discovered the Phantom Realm. My apologies for making you search for me. Curious about this creature, are you? I found him injured during one of my journeys and tended to him. Since then, he has taken to following me around. He's inquisitive, but otherwise harmless, so pay him no mind. You are the hero who delivered our star from doom, are you not? What good fortune that one as capable as you should lend his aid. To be clear, our organization has yet to accept the commission. Before we can make a decision, we would conduct a preliminary survey. Will you guide us to the Phantom Realm? Of course. I will show you the entrance at once. The gate to a realm long dreamed of by explorers.
It's cute until you pour water on it.
Or feed it
out.
after midnight.
Yeah.
What are you... Impressive, isn't it? When the gate manifested, so too did this magic, allowing one to thus walk upon water.
Yurianje? Oh, yeah.
Someone conceived a means to do this at will. An intriguing individual. It's perfectly safe, I assure you. Come.
Forget the water. It's all running across it.
By the 12, you truly can walk here. What magic is this? What makes this... By what means is it perpetuated? Forgive me, let us continue on.
We're like, don't ask why.
To think that the entrance would lie over Silvertear Lake. There's nothing out of the ordinary with the environment. The sights, the sounds, the smells, all appear to be as they should be in nature. That is to say, this place is no illusion. I bid you welcome to the navel of the Phantom Realm, the Omphalos.
Is this where we meet the 12 gods?
I believe so.
The center circle has the symbols for each of them.
That's what I was wondering.
And we're phased.
Yep. The Omphalos, you say? A name of my own conception, I confess. I felt we needed something to call it by. Lest you wonder, the word means navel in the ancient tongue, an allusion to Morgana's location in the heart of Aldenard. As you can see, there are man-made structures, and the place appears well kept, yet there isn't a single soul in evidence. It is my hope that you will help me shed light upon this realm, to learn who created it, and to what end. I should also like to know why it has revealed itself now. Was it simply a chance to keep it hidden, or something more? In any case, let us begin by taking a look around. Stone monument has been erected here, by whose hand you cannot say, but the motifs wrought into its base appear familiar. In the distance, you see what appears to be the Crystal Tower, though the clouds make it too difficult to be sure. It would seem that you are in the sky above Silvertear Lake. No such isle could be seen from the outside. A number of structures such as this can be seen in the area. What purpose could they possibly serve? The architecture is unlike anything seen in Eorzea. Truly exquisite stuff. You're just looking around, have you? What are your impressions? We've had only a cursory glance, but this is truly a mysterious place. The gleaming spire rising beyond the clouds, that is most certainly the Crystal Tower. And judging by its aspect, we are a considerable distance above Silvertear Lake, which would suggest the gate we entered is a teleporter. However, if this isle lies where it appears to lie, then it couldn't have escaped the Battle of Silvertear Skies unscathed. Which is to say, we are in Morgana, and yet we are not. 'Tis as if we were displaced from our world, if only slightly. Displaced is an apt way to put it. Was there aught else you noticed? The motifs upon yonder structure, they are unmistakably the marks of the 12. by which I posit that this was created to be a place of worship. But by whom? I cannot think of any who could have possibly built such a grand premises. Never mind magically conceal it. At least not in the wake of the Battle of Silvertear Skies. Aye, this is a mysterious place indeed. Alright, we do not need to speak to Graha unless you guys just want to take the next quest.
That's just what is it? Not dungeons, but raids.
The 24 mankind, the Alliance raids.
Snap.
The building's open if you do talk to him. I started talking to him.
I'll talk to him. Well, it seems there is but one solution for our ignorance. A thorough investigation. For this, we will require more manpower and supplies, among other things. With your permission, we will confer with our representative, Kryl, and make the necessary arrangements for a formal investigation. If that is what must be done to commence your work in earnest, then by all means. Without further ado, let us return to Charlia. Hold, mortals. You profane this sacred realm with your very presence, and must answer for your irreverence. I am Byrgot the Builder. Byrgot? Then the 12 are real? Let there be no doubt. We are not simulacra born of mortal faith. Nay, we 12 are divinities true. And in Hydaelyn's absence, we are the star's rightful rulers, its will. Closely have we watched mankind. And we have determined that you, champion of Hydaelyn, pose a threat to our ascension. You were foolish to wander into our realm. We could destroy you with ease here and now. But as divinities, we must demonstrate grace and forbearance. There is but one path. We must weigh this mortal's worth. Hear, hear. Let there be a trial. While the mortal would invariably be destroyed, it would at least provide us with a diversion. What? You suddenly appear and expect us to simply comply with your whims? Protest if you wish, but mortal logic means naught to gods. You will abide by our laws. Lo, the gateway to our sanctums lies open. Show us the strength of mankind. Show us the honor of mankind. Show us the spirit of mankind. If man would remain the master of its own destiny, then assemble your comrades and come. Come and prove your worthiness.
I did not see 12.
All there has to be is 6 of them, and because 2 came out of each.
And also, these Alliance raids usually come in groups of 3, and as far as I know, there's only one of these right now. So, 4 in the first one, and then in 6.2 or 6.3, another 4, and then 6.4, 6.5, another 4, you get all 12. 7 hells. During my previous forays, nothing like this ever happened. I encountered not a single soul, and certainly not gods. And by their own admission, they mean to take over the star. What are we to do? The situation has indeed taken an unexpected turn, but we must try to think clearly. The 12 have long been revered and worshipped on Eorzea, and myths about them abound. But to my knowledge, they have never thus appeared so openly before people. For these beings to suddenly reveal themselves just when we're here, claim supremacy over the star, and challenge us to a trial. Too much about this feels odd, and it gives me pause. Fair enough, yet as it stands, it seems we can't dismiss the threat either. I'm going with option 2. It is true that even Hydaelyn and Zodiar are primals, and we cannot discount the possibility, but we know too little to draw conclusions. In any event, if these beings seek dominion over the star, as they say, what happens here may have far-reaching implications. To that end, I believe we should take action. Suffice it to say, you are with me. Then, the students of Baldessian will officially tend to the situation. Aye, in the course of studying the star's mysteries, we have undertaken to deal with any threats that may arise. This is no different. Right. Let us deliberate a course of action. Derek, know you aught of these beings' sanctums? Aye. They are domains in the Phantom Realm that lie beyond each gate. I've explored them all. perhaps due to etheric instability, there are times when one can enter when ordinarily one could not. But 'twould seem the way has been opened for us. While I encountered no gods during my previous forays, I saw enough to know my way around. I am but a humble explorer, not content with gods. But if you would be willing to protect me, I will serve as your guide. Assemble your comrades. Fire God bade us. As strong as I know you are, we know little and less about our foes, neither their strength nor their nature. 'Twould be decidedly reckless to face them by ourselves. Nay, we must choose an approach that affords us the best chance at victory. To that end, this time I shall work behind the scenes. While you set forth to answer the gods' challenge, I will do what I can in my capacity as a student. For one, it would behoove us to arm ourselves with knowledge about the 12, and I shall begin by apprising Kryl of the situation. By thus utilizing our resources to the fullest, we shall overcome whatever trials await. Alright, I have checked the other quest we have, the where no Loporrit has gone before. That leads to the other level 90 dungeon we haven't done yet, which we don't have time to do tonight. So I think I'm going to wind down the stream.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright, guys, I believe that is where we're going to call it for tonight. And I will be back tomorrow with more Final Fantasy VII Remake. And also, we all here haven't really decided what we're going to do next now that we've reached the end of the MSQ. So it's possible we'll be back next week. It's possible we won't. We might be playing something else. We'll just have to see. So, until then, I want to thank y'all for joining me. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I'll see y'all next time. Have a good night.